Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmach Live. My name is Chandrakant. Just in case if you don't remember, I meet you every day to discuss about the pressing business issues. And many of you may not be knowing that there is a new type of problem, especially when it comes to business, is growing in our world, and that is related to shipping. And a lot of things are happening in the shipping, which may result into either profit or loss for us, mostly lost. That is why I'm talking about it, and this is known as the shipping war. And this whole problem in the shipping chaos, which is now emerging worldwide, will actually create a situation where there will be more problems. The price rise will happen. Availability of goods may get affected, and these are the things which are sometimes left unanswered by the mainstream media. And this is something very very serious, and that's why we are talking about it today. So, what is that we should why we should worry, and what is that is happening? Let's find out. All right. So the first point is that there are unprecedented challenges being faced in our shipping industry. Why shipping is so important? Shipping is very important simply because the shipping controls the backbone of our trade. If you look at the sea routes between Europe and America, between Middle East and India, and subsequently to China, they are some of the busiest sea routes that you can encounter on the planet Earth. Simply because of these sea routes, the global economy is maintained. There are supply chains which is coming through the sea routes, and there are huge ships. Why there are huge ships and containers? Simply because when it comes to land transportation, the size cannot exceed certain points. Because if you make your vehicle too heavy, too large, it will start sinking into the ground. Therefore, it is not practical to make very large vehicles to carry your goods on land. Therefore, when it comes to water, there is Archimedes principle. As long as the vessel can displace the amount of water which is heavier than itself, it will float. So therefore, there is no limit, and therefore there are huge ships, huge container ships which are being manufactured, and every day, every year, the record of a previous ship is broken. And because of these large ships, some of these ships are so large, they carry merchandises which are meant for 1 year supply for small countries. Now these container ships may not be sufficient for a country like India, China, and USA and Brazil. However, a few shipments of this size may suffice the need for all kinds of requirements for large countries as well. So ships are so important because they carry huge supplies from one country to other. Now these ship routes can carry. I mean, the one ship can carry so much stuff. Therefore, large countries are also sending their raw material, produced goods. Somebody is exporting, somebody is importing, and you need ships to carry these things. Therefore, shipping is very, very important. And if you look at the sea routes, they have become backbone of our global economy. Now, we may not think about it on the daily basis because, who's concerned about the shipping? You never see them. They are far away into the ocean, and they're so far off, and it is far from common public eye. However, I mean, if you look at the tea being sent to UK, the shipment which is lying in the ship will suffice to 1 year supply of the entire UK, and UK being the predominantly drinking country, and but so is India. But India is a large country, therefore India produces its own tea and export it to the UK, and thus earning foreign exchange. So shipping is so important. What is happening now? There has been a slowdown in shipping, and there are various reasons for it. I will cover all the reasons one by one. There has been an unprecedented slowdown, and especially I told you that the shipping route in the Indian Ocean is the most vital for the global economy, simply because the majority of the commodity which goes through this area is the petroleum, oil, and gas. And if you look at the most populous country today, which is India and China, they do not have any of these petroleum reserves underground. So because of non-availability of petroleum petroleum raw material like crude oil not being available in India and China, they are forced to import it from either Russia or Middle Eastern countries, and therefore, how do you transmit this? It's basically via ships. Ships today provides the cheapest and the best alternative, even better than laying a pipeline. Although in a longer run, pipeline will be much more cost effective. But as of now, ships are carrying goods into the Indian Ocean and also in the Atlantic, which is the most busy sea route and running the global economy today. And if there is a slowdown in this trade, there could be a major situation emerging, not immediately, but in coming months. The slowdown of global trade because of the chaos happening in the high seas. The supply chain is getting disrupted. There are certain countries which are totally dependent on the raw material being imported in their country. I mean, for instance, if you look at Japan, Japan do not have any natural raw material in their country, but they have a tremendous capability to uh, bring the raw material and produce usable products out of it and then export it out. So I think the entire economy of Japan is built on getting the raw material into the country first, working on it, then send them in the form of cars or high-tech material, etc. Whatever that it is. They will also need a lot of food, which will come from Southeastern East Asian countries, also India and Thailand. So, if the shipping slows down in the Indian Ocean, you can imagine the kind of impact it will have on so many other countries. The people who are actually selling goods will get affected. People who are buying goods will also get affected, and therefore it all starts with the container crunch. You see, when you see the ships, large ships, they will have a pile of containers. Each container will be destined for a particular address. So this container crunch is happening. If there are less containers, that means the ships cannot carry full capacity. And when the containers are not present, then the ships are not able to load completely, and when they are not able to load fully as per their capacity, they will not be profitable. So what is happening is this small thing like container unavailability is becoming such a issue that the shipping companies are not running their ships because they want to run their ships with full capacity. I mean, believe it or not, running a ship is very expensive. The amount of fuel it takes, etc. So the shipping companies who are actually running this whole vehicle are not running it because the number of containers which the ships can carry are not available. Why they are not available? I think let's look at that. It all starts in the Red Sea. First, there was a war brewing in Middle East. And because of that, there was a environment of uncertainty. There was something going on in the Middle East where, if you look at Tel Aviv, which is on the other side of the Red Sea, and then from Tel Aviv, you have to cross the Suez Canal and then come into the Red Sea, and then eventually go via Indian Ocean and eventually go to Strait of Malacca over Malaysia, and then reach South China Sea. So there was an unrest in the Middle East. Prior to that, there was unrest in the European theater, which is Ukraine, and most of the shipping actually from Ukraine also happens through this Indian Ocean route. So when there was an issue growing up in the Middle East, and there were two factions fighting, there was uncertainty in that area. And then subsequently there was pirate attacks. There were attacks and also the terrorist attacks happening on the civilian ships in the Red Sea area. And if you remember, there were Navy of U.S. Navy as well as Indian Navy intercepted and protected some of these merchant ships when they were passing through the Red Sea area. So when this happened, the feeling of uncertainty, security, safety started causing some concerns, and the ships did not have enough manpower to man them. because more and more people started to stay away from these zones. And trust me on this, because I told you that the most busy sea route is between Middle East, India, and China in the world. If you look at the sea route, you will see a very thick band going from this region. So when more and more people stayed away, that means the ships were not able to fulfill or basically build a crew for their operations successfully. And because there is not availability of lot of people, what happened is that there are some containers who were left behind on the port itself. When the ports were having the containers left behind on them, over a period of few months, it grew into a congestion situation. That the ports are having these containers, whereas the ships do not have enough manpower to collect them on each of their journeys. And over a period of time, these ships started filling their container crunch. The container is a small box which can be kept on the truck, fairly standard dimensions. You can keep it on the ship, and when you import it into a country, you can put it on a truck and then ferry it inland. So these containers were left stranded on the various ports, and the ships were not collecting them on a timely basis. And because of that, the subsequent shipments of various goods were completely affected by this particular chaos which was created, which started off with Middle East tension, subsequently terrorist attack in the Red Sea area, and also the pirates which were active in that area, the pirates coming from different countries in that area, which got affected the whole, which triggered the whole situation regarding the containers. Then what happens is, since the containers are not available, manpower is not available. Running a ship is very very expensive, as I told you that ships are so large, they carry stuff which may be required for smaller countries for a year. So you can imagine the size of these ships. So because of delays in getting all the logistics in order to run the ship were not available, the, the cost started to rise, and the cost of these running for the ships increased gradually, and the sometimes it became double. And in the global market, if the cost of procurement is twice that you were paying just few months back, obviously people will start backing out on the contracts, and they will not like to continue with this kind of shipping. So unavailability of container basically triggered the price rise, especially when it comes to shipping. And remember, shipping is almost like you can compare it with mining, because you bring this stuff into your country, and then there is their supply chain within the country which will have a certain amount of escalation on the price. So if the shipping itself, the source price is going high, then all the subsequent prices will also increase, and eventually it will reach the common man. And therefore, what I'm saying is that it is very important to understand what is going on in the high seas, which will eventually affect the middle classes, the small business people. They will not be able to maintain the price levels that they have today. It will definitely affect the consumer. It will also affect the business, and overall, in next couple of years, it will actually create another crunch, which will affect the global economy. We are talking about recession, we're talking about slowdown. This is something which is happening as we speak today. Although this has not been covered by the mainstream media, but this is very, very serious, because there are certain merchandises, there are certain products which can only travel by ships. There are no railroads, there are no pipelines, and the amount which is required, which the ships can ferry, is humongous, and therefore things like natural gas, things like petroleum, things like raw material, ores, these are the basic building block of our economy, and only ships today are the vehicle which can carry this in large quantity. So if the shipping itself is going, cost of shipping is also going higher, then the cost of production will also increase. The supply chain cost will also increase, Distribution costs will increase. Eventually, it will affect the consumer and it will also affect the common business person. Therefore, these are some issues which are happening. These are the things which are real. This is going to increase the inflation. This is going to increase the prices. It will also put pressure on how you basically produce your business. In fact, in next couple of months, even if you are selling services, the price you will come under the price pressure, and things will suddenly start jumping in terms of the price point. So this is something which I wanted to talk in this live stream. If you have any thoughts, any comments, feel free to send it across. And if you know about this particular, events which are happening in our global economy, I will be more than happy to hear your thoughts. So, friends, thanks for watching me live. I will catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.